All right, well, this morning we are actually going to go and do a little bit of a speaking engagement at the Startup Brew. Never been there before, but let's go see what it's all about. Here we are. How does it feel to go to your first Startup Brew?
Oh, it feels good. My roots are in startups and working with entrepreneurs, so it's fun to actually get to go to an event where I can mingle with some.
All right. I ditto that. I think that's a great way to say it. Let's go check it out. Hey, they even got a grain bin. Wow. Fancy. Here's a neat bike.
Good morning, Mr. Red.
Hello. Good to see you.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah. Do you remember when I went to the Million Cups like 5 years ago?
At least 5 years ago.
Yeah.
What can I grab you?
I need a brew. I need a brew.
Good, well here's a coffee brew.
Thank you so much.
Right, there you go.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We got our brew now.
Yep.
Now we're good to go.
Real quick, I only got about a minute for the real speakers come up here, but I want everybody to remember that you do have a trade office. We're here at your disposal. We can help you with some of the things that these next gentlemen are going to be speaking about.
All right, let's jump in. Our first speaker today is Matt Fall. Matt is the president and founder of Red E. He grew up in Fargo, North Dakota. He received his mechanical engineering degree at North Dakota State in 2006, which launched him into several years of various product development related to construction and agriculture. He achieved his professional engineer certification and started an engineering solutions company at the age of 29. He enjoys connecting and relating to people locally and globally, and we are so excited to have him here today. Let's welcome up Matt.
Thanks for having me. So in 2016, my twin brother had just started to work with me, and his came about 2015, and I'd started in 2012. Yeah, I know I don't look that old. You're like, oh, are you just starting college or what? No, I'm actually 38 years old, which many people do not get. And I have to say that as a disclaimer. I've kind of carried that with my red hair most of my life, because when you're little, red hair is not so great. You get picked on. But when you're older, it kind of identifies you. Well, when you have a twin brother and you both have red hair and you're both identical, that really identifies you. So in 2015, he finally joined me after working at John Deere for a lot of years, and he had the golden handcuffs on. We were doing pretty good. We had 4 people, 4 of us engineers, and we're doing solutions for companies, engineering solutions. Well, we thought we were making good progress, so hey, let's start doing some exporting since it's export theme. We got involved with the North Dakota Trade Office, and they were instrumental in helping us take that first step. Sometimes just that first step is the hardest one, but we did it. We actually took that first step, and we thought, hey, we're not doing that great domestically with our products that we're just starting to introduce to the market and sell direct to farmers. Let's go across the pond. Maybe that'll be better, right? We'll have a market over there. So Jesse goes, he's the one, he's like, I got this. So he goes to Kazakhstan twice that year. And the North Dakota Trade Office helped us do that. And he did treacherous travel, long days, roads without signs, visited all kinds of farmers with a mutual friend of ours who we used to work with. He was from Uzbekistan. He stayed with us when we were at Amity Technology, and he was an intern under me. But that was cool, but guess what? He came back and he was not successful. So it just seemed like it was there. There was farmers like, yeah, Ready Hat. We're gonna buy product from you, and it never formalized. It was so frustrating. And there's something though I wanted to comment on that really caught our attention when we were there, and this was our guide. not Bhakti, the guy from Uzbekistan, because he was with us too, but this other guy who was a local, and he's introducing us to all these farms. He's going to be our dealer. He said, are you willing to sacrifice or to pay the cost for what it takes to succeed here? He said, it will cost you your family, it will cost you your marriage, and it will cost you your life. And we're like, so Jesse comes back with this, and I'm like, I don't want to pay that cost. No, we can still succeed without paying that cost, right? And so that stuck with us. So Jesse, he didn't succeed, so I'm like, Jesse, you step aside, I got this. So, like, you know, any young entrepreneurs maybe would do, let's do round 2. I went to Russia in 2017. And it was 4 years, 6 trips to Russia and Ukraine. Many times I combined them. And I finally had some sales. So think about that entry barrier, that entry cost to get there. And so I wanted to highlight some success we've had and talk about what is success a little bit. Because success is, the world tells us success is money, power, and fame, right? It's kind of that thing that is always being told us. And it's kind of like, well, and I hear it a lot in entrepreneurs, or at least I think we believe it ourselves too, is I will pay whatever it takes to get success. And thinking back to that conversation that my twin brother had with this guy in Kazakhstan, it's like, man, that's a high cost. And we've had a lot of success at Red E. Just in the last few years, in 2021, we're number 923 of the Inc. 5,000 fastest growing companies. Incredible reward, or incredible just placard, I guess you could say we've got. And then things like, we're profitable finally. Our team has grown from like 1 me to 28. We're hiring all the time. And so all these things are happening, but I wanted to talk about success in a way that we can turn it into significance. See, success is about us, right? It's about what do I get out of it. But if we turn it into significance, significance is about others. And so as we think about things that we can do in our own lives, things like meet needs of other people's, look for those things, needs or hurts that people have, and try to meet those things. Because even when we talk about Russia and Ukraine, some people are like, well, why would you go over there and help them? I don't know. Like I've gone over there many times with Hamady Technology, which is just down the road, and I got a heart for the people. Because, see, I was an engineer on this product line called a planter, and it puts sugar beet seeds in the ground, and it grows sugar beets. Okay, you can do that all over the world, but it just seemed like there's this mindset of, you do your work, you close the doors of the container, and you wipe your hands, and you're like, oh, that's not my problem anymore. But it is real people receiving your product on the other end. And so it wasn't until I went over there, I shook their hands, I looked them in the eye, I laid in the dirt with them with my problems that I created sometimes with my design, and I realized these are people who have needs, who have hurts or wants, they have families, they have aspirations. And that really helped me be motivated to go and try to meet their needs. So it was an underserved country as far as these air seeders go that we provide solutions for. I can tell you a lot more about it because my time is up, but I wanted at least to talk about that significance portion of it. That's been the best thing about what we've been doing at Red E, is when we turn our success into significance, and I hope that encourages you to do that as well. Remember, there's this, maybe some of you call it who said this, but what is the profit to a man to gain the whole world but forfeit his soul? Right? This is a moment in history that we have, a very short moment, and it means a lot for eternity. And so, it was Jesus, by the way. And so if that's something that pricks your heart, you guys, he loves you, and he wants that relationship with you, and he's got a plan for your life, and let's get there together, okay?
So much, Matt. I am so inspired. That was beautiful. Let's give it up for Matt. Thank you so much. Success and significance. Wow, that's powerful. Thank you so much.
But let's focus on the good. Tell us a win you're celebrating lately. Just something good, professionally or personally. Either one of you.
what comes to mind is really based on balance, I think. And so a couple things. The success we've had that I shared a little bit about, and it's most of it's been domestically, but is so stressful. And even last year at this time, it was very unhealthy. My twin brother and I were the owners, and whenever, all these sales I refer to as fishing, and these fish are swimming by. It's like the sales, like we don't want to miss any. And so we're like putting in insane hours. Our relationship was at an all-time low. And in fact, it's just embarrassing to say, but we had hate feelings towards each other. We'd grown up together, and even when he was thinking about joining me, we were really worried about our relationship. Like, well, if you work together, I don't know if you've ever listened to Dave Ramsey, but he said the only partnership that doesn't set the only ship that doesn't set sail is a partnership. And it's like, ooh. And then we got to see each other at all the family functions, right? And we live next to each other, so we're like really integrated, right?
It's like looking in a mirror at something you don't like.
And my mom actually said, this is funny, my mom actually said, she's like, oh, they just need to spend more time together. And I'm like, that's the last thing I can think of right now. I can't stand the guy. And you know what, she was right. She knows us. And it had to be like outside of the stressful work context. But a big win for us, or just that highlight right now, is we've set up processes and people. I don't even know how it's happened, just slow progression over time. One of my great team members is here, and we've got a team of 28 people. It's really helped with the stress. And I can tell you too, I mean, on like kind of a personal level too, my marriage is like, it was at an all-time low, and now it's at an all-time high. And so like, I feel like those things are good. Like those are really important. And
those are huge wins.
Yes, yes, because guess what? It's hard to function when those things are down.
I think a lot of people can relate to the last couple of years of marriage, friendships, business, just being extremely stressful. So I'm so happy to hear that you're climbing back out of it. And you and your brother friends again? Today, at least?
Yeah, he was, I actually had to ride into work with him, which we live right next to each other. We never ride together. It's for a reason.
Had to ride together.
It's like, you're leaving 5 minutes different, or I'm waiting for you, don't want to do that. But anyway, he stayed up till 4 in the morning. We're in our busy season till May 1st, just trying to get farmers their parts so they can get in the field with their air seeders that they pull behind their tractors to get seed in the ground. And I already started to see signs of like, he's stressed. And I don't want that to happen, but we have good people in place, so we're gonna do what we can.
So moving out of family into operations, you guys are both operating large companies, doing big things that I didn't even know we were doing in Fargo. So maybe, both of you focused on your story, which we love to hear. Maybe you can give us a little pitch on like what you do, so what Alendo is, what Red E is, and tell me something that you've learned while exporting, which I can't imagine is an easy thing to understand.
Yeah, so Red E is a company that solves problems. We help farmers, and specifically farmers now. We do have an engineering part of the business that we're an engineering-based company. I'm an engineer. I think 8 people on our team are basically engineers. I don't do engineering anymore, at least the traditional way I used to with designing and CAD work. But we've really transitioned into offering a product as we've developed these products that solve these problems to help farmers with their equipment. If you guys haven't, everyone here has seen rising costs, right? If you wanted to get a car, it's more money. Well, that's not just cars. It's these air seeders too. You could buy a machine for $150,000 in the early 2000s, and now they're like $300,000 or more. And it's like, well, the tool back in early 2000 was very similar to what is today. Now they've made improvements, but guess what? All these aftermarket companies like ours, and Intelligent Ag, which is in Fargo, we're their #1 dealer, and then some companies all over, even in Canada, have developed aftermarket solutions, and we've really come and combined it under one roof. And we do the rebuilds too, so we also do the service element. There's a lot of people who maybe want the parts or want their equipment rebuilt, but it's so hard to do because it's so much work. Like, who wants to spend 200 hours laying on your back in the dirt or in a concrete floor doing very heavy manual labor and hurting yourself? Like, hey, sign me up, right? I do need one of those every month, I feel like, to get appreciative of what I already do at my office, but it's something that we do as a service. We find great people to do that. And the export side, so when I went to Russia, man, they got a good deal. Stuff that I would do here, I would charge $5,000 for a single farmer. And I would go over there and help these farmers like install the parts for free.
it was kind of like my entry, no strings attached, you can't say no, but they could. It was really easy. It was like really hard to make a sale. But we started from the bottom up, and we'd meet. Most guys start at the top. You have to sell to 3 levels when you export, at least in Russia, Ukraine. Maybe it's different in other places. We've been to Australia too. We sold all over, but mostly Russia and Ukraine are the main ones, which, by the way, no more. It's not happening. We had a Ukraine order get canceled, and thankfully we didn't ship it before it was paid. We did get our Russian order out just before all this stuff started to happen. And why I don't really care about Russia as a government or whatever, but I do care about the farms that we committed to. And the amazing thing was, and just the celebration was, the container shipped, the war didn't start, the stuff didn't happen until after the parts arrived. The currency didn't go crazy devaluing until I was paid, thankfully. And the farmers had already paid. You can imagine the ruble when I was there, last was like just before COVID, which that's another story, just trying to get out of the country when the COVID stuff happened, was 65 rubles to the dollar. Well, now it's like 150. Yeah. I mean, so imagine trying to pay triple for the parts. So anyway, all this is happening, and I think about our translator who's there. I'm going to try to meet with him in Uzbekistan or something this summer. Hopefully we can go there together. But the export thing was just, it was huge. Didn't need it necessarily, but I think it helped us be better too, and helped us be a better company. And guess what? They get a lot more use on their air seeders in a single year. Like these are like million-acre agri-holding companies. Some of them, they got 30,000 acre farm units, production units, and they're putting 15,000 acres on in a single year when farmers here are like 2,000 to 3,000. So great testing. Yeah. Great testing.
Wow,
but
lots of
if you can make it there, you can probably make it here pretty reasonably with your products.
Fascinating. Well, let me repeat that for a live wire. So exporting to Russia, Uzbekistan, Ukraine, some of the logistics at the top, right? And access issues.
Yeah, it definitely seems easier to grease the palms. That's something I committed to never do. And I can tell you right now that I have never done that. And actually, it makes me mad when I find out a translator, someone did something that, even if it's $1 or $2, there's ways to show appreciation, but that's definitely not our culture. It's certainly the culture over there. There's a lot of corruption, and I acted dumb most of the time, so that really helped. And I think people realize, like, he's an American, he doesn't understand. But we did not succeed because of that. And I really do credit to the foundation. Howard Dahl's on my board, and he's been a huge exporter since the 80s. In fact, I worked for him at Amity, and he was one who's always committed to not doing transactions through bribes. And so one quick example was I was crossing from Russia into Ukraine, and I had bought it's called a skiff system. It's a blockage system, and I was bringing it back as a test against the intelligent ag wireless blockage system, because it's like a third of the price. And farmers were like, oh, this thing works great. Why do I need to buy yours that is 4 times more or whatever? And I was like, I'm going to buy one. So I paid like $3,500 for it, and I'm bringing it back in my luggage, and we're crossing the border by car, and they're like, what is this? Like, you can't do this. You can't take this. I'm like, if I did something wrong, then yeah, charge me. Or if I need to pay a fine, or if I need to pay a fee, tell me. Sure. And they held us up for like an hour, like waiting for a bribe is what they were doing. And an hour in the cold, the lines are way long, right? And it's like, come on. And I was proud, like, thankfully my translator was there, and he's retired. He grew up in the Soviet Union, so he like knows all this stuff. And anyway, finally they come to him on the side, and they're like, two. He's like, $2? And they're like, no, you fool! It's like, or maybe it started out as like 2 rubles or something, $2? And so he's like messing with them, right? And finally, he finds out that they're from the same village. It's like, then I'm like, all of a sudden it goes from like, this is a stalemate, and all of a sudden they're laughing. And I'm like, what is going on? And he's like, he's awesome. And so anyway, they're just like, let him go, get out of here. Next time, bring some vodka or something. Like, good grief, that was a pain in the butt. But I didn't do it, and I refused to do it. And so I even was willing to stand there. And I was like, if I did something wrong, take this from me. I was willing to give up $3,500. But I was like, I bought the system. I paid your value add tax. And it's the paperwork's right here. And so it's just a big hassle, and that's just an example.
Stick to your morals.
Right,
Yeah.
and so thankfully we had that base, and we were able to make it without doing that.
It's a great question. All right, anybody else? Yes, sir, James.
When dealing with both of you, dealing with across not just country barriers, but continent barriers, language barriers, what are some significant, other than, obviously we just talked about, but other cultural challenges that you had to overcome and lessons you learned about how to overcome cultural differences and barriers?
Ooh, lessons that you've learned overcoming cultural barriers. Matt, what about you?
Just real quickly, the key for us was the guy on the other side. I don't think I could have succeeded on my own. I mean, maybe there's a chance, but this guy I met with, his name was Eugene, and I call him Papa Eugene. I'm his American son. He's single, and he speaks English, so I could actually communicate with him, and he's just an awesome guy. He caught on our vision. He saw, like at the first time I was there, and he was doing it as a transaction. He was providing translation services. I got connected through one of the guys I used to work with at Amity who was over there, and he was like, we were sitting in this cafe near his apartment, and he goes, "Why are you here?" I'm like, "I'm here to help." He's like, "Cut the crap." He said a different word, but he goes, "Why are you here?" I said, "I am serious. Like, I am not, like, I have to make money to keep coming back." I did say that. I have to make money to keep coming back, but I really feel this is an underserved market, and I can help these farmers do a better job with their equipment needs and for a lot less money. And he didn't, I don't think he believed me right away, but real quickly, we just became so close, and we traveled together everywhere. He wasn't comfortable driving me around, so guess who got to drive the rental car? And I thought I was a good driver, but it's all about survival over there. So, and nothing has cruise control. It's like they cut out $50 on the car, even though you're driving a Volkswagen. It's like, God, I got to hold the throttle for 10 hours. Anyway, minor.
That's
First
awesome.
world problems, but anyway, the guy on the other side is key, and he was really the reason, a big reason for our success, and we really worked well together.
And I imagine, like, my guess would be that there could be some bias working with American business people like yourselves of, well, they're in it for profit. This is just about the end sale. But did all of you notice, neither one of them in their story just talked about the end sale. This was about the people. So, but you probably have to explain that in ways that their culture understands and these people understand of, like, we're here to help. I really want to serve, which I can imagine has its own challenges. Well, thank you guys so much. Let's jump to the last question, which is always something I love. Your community is here, your friends are here, and we want to know how we can energize your work. What is one thing that we can do to support you right now?
Well, specifically for us, we continue to grow, and we could use some great people, more great people. We're a team of 28, but I don't see that slowing down anytime soon. So if you know of people who are interested, we're looking for senior engineer, even an R&D technician, mechanics to do the work on the farm. So if you know people who just get energized by wrenching and can do some travel, a lot of travel, but really our brand is pretty cool, so hopefully that helps. And then there's all kinds of positions we're constantly adding, so check out our website, ready-ag.com, and we need good people. I know the community's full of good people. It's just where is it going to come from, right?
Awesome. Well, let's give it up for Roland and Matt. Thank you guys so much.
I'd say that went pretty good.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
I think we're going to have to come to this more often.
Yes. Bring the whole team next time, maybe.
Yeah, so StartupBREW, guys, it's a real thing in Fargo, right here in this great facility called Fargo Brewing Company. In fact, they got brewing going on right over here. So if you really want to see what brewing is like and what it takes to get it done, check this out. Anyway, we are so busy. We're going to get back to work. It is crazy time for farmers and for us as we try to supply parts to farmers. And so we are going to get back to work and get those parts out the door so that farmers can get to the field with their air seeders that are running at the best performance they can. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for tracking with us. Remember to support your local farmer and your global farmer, I guess. And God bless. Jesus loves you. Take care.